Hi guys. All right. Hi guys. Uh, Welcome to my channel back. The whoever is interested in gang stalking or just curious, um, I have a small announcement to make. For the last about 10 days, I was kind of sick. The poisoning that I had a year ago doesn't want to go away. The I'm talking about the consequences of poisoning. I have problem with my not exactly esophagus, but I have problem with my lower intestine. I have problem with my pancreatitis. So the poison activated all those sicknesses and killed the entire good bacteria in my intestinal tract, which creates periodic, I call it obstructions, so which is unbelievably painful. So the other thing, as I said, I'm trying to make as much as overtime as I can, but unfortunately the company that I work for the last couple of months wasn't really, even 3 months now, wasn't really giving the overtime away, which changed situations. And I have a small situation with the uh, social security that overpaid my mother's payment, and after her death, so I need to return 1 month of her pay of her. I mean, I have all of it ready except 1 month, because supposedly the last month, even if you lived died actually one day before end of the month or end of your cycle, you're not eligible for whatever you were making. So I try to pay it. I went several times to Social Security office here in Gwinnett County in Atlanta, Georgia, and Marietta. They talked to me, they looked, but nobody took even a payment. So they kind of dropped. Uh, they I wanted to pay 2 months, and they needed to send me the rest of the as a bill that I can reevaluate it, because they made it wrong, by the way. And last month I tried to do a fundraiser, and unfortunately the fundraiser didn't work out. You know how much I collected in the fundraiser? Well, that's what it is. And so I am, as I said, I work now. This end of the month going to be 3 years and 3 months since I started to work in the security business. I worked in two big companies. The first one was Secure America. I worked for a year here in Atlanta, Georgia, and then the Secure America was taken over by Allied Universal, which I like much, much more than I like Secure America. I had several situations in Secure America that actually were partially really, really ugly, and one of them was very racial, I consider it to be. And the so what happening, as I said, with me, if I don't settle the situation with the Social Security of my mother's overpayments, there can be law going against me, which I mean, whatever I do, I'm trying to pay it, and the Social Security simply refuses to take a payment. They want me to use checks instead of debit cards. And at debit cards, I mean, the monies are there. What I did very simple. Instead of keeping it in one account, I moved 1 month to one bank, and I moved 1 month to another bank. And as I said, because of the last month, the third month wasn't full. So, and I'm trying to, when I went to Social Security, I took my debit card, said, well, take the payment. And first they say, oh, we don't know if debit card machines or credit card machines are working. Okay, go check. And then practically I arrived there like 10 o'clock, and I stayed till 4 before they even took attention of me. So I waited 6 hours. They had another woman took me just for 30, took my complaint about for 30, for 30 minutes, and then I waited another like 6 hours, 5 hours to pay for it, and then they still refused to pay. They promised me to call back. Now it's 2 weeks. They don't call back. So de facto, I have been dealing with this for 3 months, and this is a serious issue. Okay, and same time when I need the money simply to take all together, the company that I work for, Allied Universal, become a problem of overtime. Like I had, I could make a lot of overtime. I can make several days extra of working, which is massively good. You can have a very fat check, and not just this week. You can do another week, and you see the Allied Universal in general security works this way. You have two sides of whoever runs the show. You have a security company that provides security officers to guard and assist property owners. And property owners are actually the one who are paying for to the security officers. So sometimes what happens is they looks like they simply not really happy with overtime they're making, and you end up with the working 1 week, 2 weeks in overtime, and uh, overtime it sounds really good when it's just a possibility to make extra money. But in general, overtime is this: somebody doesn't show, okay, but somebody else takes their place and gets overtime 1.5 times its regular pay, and actually it's pretty much is the same pay. It's the same work for higher pay, and a lot of people know that. And this is the job. With the job of social security, you have this is the thing where you make money. Okay, if you have a pay raise, it's good, but the pay raise is not the thing that you have fat check. Let's put it this way. And the only through overtime, which is very convenient to people who don't have obligations. For instance, I had obligations. Before my mother was sick for a very long time, I didn't have any single time. When I told them when my my mother, when she goes away, I will have plenty of time to cover for stuff, and I did. And told her, but suddenly, as I said, like since April, I had a massive drop of overtime, and I needed it unbelievably. So, as I said, that's why I organized the fundraiser, and as I said, it's I call it, legal fund that's going to be needed for. There is so much stuff which you have when somebody dies. You have like, you walk through the river and then you have sharp stones you don't see. This is exactly what it is. You have something that is very, very um, unpleasant, because there is stuff comes out that you don't know. You have to deal with. You have to pay out of your pocket. That's why, as I said, that's why I did a legal fund. But as I said, the problem was that I didn't have any overtime. I mean, I had some, but it's not what I expected. And so, as I said, there's two types of sites when you work for security businesses: a security company, which you work for, and then security company contracts work from from owners of the property owners, and they dictate what they pay. Okay. So in some companies they pay really generous, some don't. And so if you have a long time situation like you can have overtime and then suddenly it stops, it means that you have to look for different property owners to work for, even though you work for the same security company. So what you do is you have to go to a security company and ask, I need the transfer for place where they pay more. Okay? Because I mean, we work for money. We don't work to look good. We do want to look good, but we work for money. This is what it is. Especially when you're 61, going to be this year like me. So we need contribution. So this is what happened with me, and I need to work as much as possible. As I said, I will try to again to restart door dashing in the morning because I had to accept the other Friday. I had one of my colleagues that was one of my bosses comes and say, "Well, there'll be no overtime," and well, it didn't make exactly happy, but the shifts he offered, other shifts, I took it and said, "Well, let's see how it's going to work." But my point is that now I have, when I start, I will have plenty of time to do the door dashing. But as I said, this is what it is, and I don't know how it's going to be over. But as I said, I have this social security deal. I don't know for how long. It's been 3 months. The way I see it, they're practically sabotaging me. They're putting me in a wave of like I do something wrong. I mean, there are people who steal their social security checks of their relatives for years, like for 20 years, and they like get away with everything. But you know, I'm the one who actually was expecting. They didn't report my mother's death. I was expecting for them to report my mother's death, and then my mother's death certificates were delayed. So I went and finally reported. And when I finally reported it, suddenly all my everything disappeared. And as I said, I didn't use my mother's money, dead mother's money. I simply put them in different banks, and the last month of her life was kept because this is what I think was supposed to be. I thought was supposed to be, and it's not just me. There's a lot of people all over the United States that actually do this. They keep the money for the last month, but suddenly Social Security comes to say, no, you have to give it back. And when you have financial strains, like as I said, there's only cremation costs like $1,300. And you don't know what they did to my mother. When my mother died, they took her away from the hospice and they lost her for 2 days. They didn't know what the morgue my mother went. And then when they found her, they missed the cremation and kept her in a refrigerator for 11 days. It was a horrible thing. And so my point is that when you deal with stuff like this, it's really screwed up. And the only thing actually that can help you and fix one of the reasons that actually then she ended up this way before cremation is because I couldn't afford to um, pay higher price for burial. So I had to choose direct cremations, and none of her friends. Remember, my mother was uh, a professor in Salt Lake Community for a very long time. There was a lot of people with her. They ate, drank, wine, even though my mother was a Mormon. But I'm talking about they were coming to our home and and friends. My mother to take them to go somewhere sometimes. To travel together with friends and unfortunately, when she died, only one person, two people actually asked where to send flowers. So suddenly, everybody who was friend disappeared. They never asked even a thing. Do you need $3 to bury us? I had some dollars, but I didn't have dollars for a lot of money for a lot of burial. So I ended up doing direct cremation. So this direct cremation screwed up massively. They de facto desecrated my mother's body. So why am maybe I shouldn't complain about it. But anyway, this is what it is. Recently, I noticed that I promised that we'll do this weekend or this weekend. Unfortunately, I cannot do it because I'm looking for extra job. This is one thing, and the second thing is I have people who sometimes call me from work and say, "Would you like to work Sunday, like second shift?" I said, "Yeah, I'll always pick it up if I can, if I don't feel bad like I feel this week." And so I am not able to keep the promise of scheduling. And so what I will be able to, I'm sorry, you see, all I'll be able to do is um, when I have a possibility of doing video, I will do it. And I don't know for how long I can do it, but and highly likely, again, since I was able to collect nothing on my legal fund, I will have to open account with Patreon. So I will do one video actually, maybe today or tomorrow. There is a video with the President Trump that acknowledges gang stalking. No, he's being sued there by indicted. So there was a video after his indictment. He went to a restaurant, and there was people who actually said a prayer over his before his lunch or something like this, and they mentioned gang stalking. It's going to be really, really interesting because gang stalking, as a word and as a definition, will be able to kind of go mainstream. I will do the video, as I said, maybe today or early in the morning, and simply going to post it. And this is it, pretty much, guys. I will, as I said, I don't think I'll be able to do videos often unless I have, I call it, financial possibility and time. You see, as I said, my number of people who are following me hasn't changed, and in March I had 5 years of channel. It means there's something wrong. It means that this channel is not being pushed forward for new people to see. Who sees the channel are the only whoever's now subscribed on it. So the only thing I can ask you if it's possible to share, and this is it pretty much. All right, you have a good evening. It's only 5:05 here in Atlanta. It's 2 o'clock, and no, it's 3 o'clock in Salt Lake City. This is what my personal friends live, and where I live here in Atlanta. So, all right, guys, you have a good evening. If you are watching me but you're not subscribing, please do. And again, share the video. Have a good evening.